sit in the water. Let's jump in there and see what's going on. All right, let's see. Well, it's definitely water coming in. What is it, man? All right, I found one leak. This one was pretty clear, but I don't think it's the only one. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera here. You see that stream of water coming in? It's actually the inlet off of the speedometer tube. So there's a little rubber tube that hooks into the outdrive that tells you the speed, and I never hooked that back up. I also found, where is it? I think it's this one. Here's the inside part, and that's why the speedometer never worked to begin with, because it wasn't hooked up to where that water's coming out at. So that's an easy fix. Fortunately, I don't think that's the only leak that we still have. So we fixed all the seals and stuff, broke a few things along the way, and now I have some more issues I need to figure out. I don't think I spaced out the shift cable correctly, because now it only goes into drive. I need to go back and redo that. I don't know if you saw earlier, but I got the drive unit all strapped up. Reason for that, there is a leak on one of the fittings on that block. So there is trim fluid leaking out, and I'm curious if that's where the leak is from on that block at the bottom, because I'm seeing a lot of trim fluid down here. I'm wondering if it's leaking in through there. Let me get this bilge pump on. Well, it's actually not that much, so it's leaking a lot less. It's got to be the most depressing thing, going through all that work and then putting it back in the water and you have the same problem. So okay, I guess we're gonna have to pull it back out and work on some more stuff. It is leaking a lot less now. Before, the last time, as soon as I jumped in the boat, the bilge pump immediately kicked on. So I think fixing the speedometer hose, that'll be good. That'll get rid of a majority of that water that's kind of just shooting in. And then the second half of that would be tearing apart that block at the bottom. That'll hopefully fix our trim rams from sagging over time. And same thing with the water coming in. This thing had no leak in the past with the trim tabs, so hopefully that'll fix it. Let me see if I can get this hose on here. Alright, so this little rubber hose right here connects up in there. I don't know if you can even see that, but that's where your speedometer goes. So I just fixed that. That was pretty simple. I'll probably throw a new zip tie on it. And I'm thinking the majority of our leaks are still coming from that block. So we're gonna have to really dig into that and figure out why that keeps leaking. Just put all new gaskets on it. So I'm not really too sure, but clearly there is a problem still. So we'll take it back to the house. I'm probably not going to work on it much today. Just got too much other stuff going on. I don't really feel like getting all covered in grease again, but hopefully that part down there is pretty easy to get to, so I don't have to take anything else apart. I just got to lower the front of the boat and I should be able to get down to it pretty easily. Like I said, I have to strap this up now because it's got a leak, which explains why there's fluid in the boat from the trim pump. So I think underneath there were those two 90-degree pieces that kind of loop into that block that kind of splits it and gives you the in and out for both sides. I think one of those is loose, and I'm assuming the gasket's probably, I guess, messed up again. Luckily that kit was pretty cheap. I'll probably order another one today just so I have it. Worst case, if I don't need it, I'll return it. What else? Yeah, the shifter cable, I jacked that up. It's got to do with the adjustments on the cable. I just got to mess around with it a little bit more. It seems like the handle's not throwing it enough to get it into both gears, but obviously it worked because it worked in the past. So got to mess around with that a little bit more. I was getting a little hot yesterday, and then obviously it started raining, and then it got cold, so I didn't feel like sitting out from underneath the canopy working on it. So we'll get that fixed and figured out. What else? I think that's mechanically why. I mean, that's pretty much it. I think it's safe to say we're probably not going to have this in the water this summer, which I'm not too happy about, but I think after we get those two things sorted out, mechanically wise, I don't really think there's much more that needs to be done on this. Appearance wise, there's a lot. Still got to paint the bottom, buff it, polish it. We still got to do the whole back swim deck. This is the reason why I haven't painted it yet, because I'm using it as like a workbench, so there's just grease and shit everywhere. So got to do that, and then obviously I got to deep clean everything. I really should have painted all this while I had it off, but timing didn't really allow. So we'll get to it though. It'll end up getting painted eventually. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna bring this back to the house, put it under the tent, cover it up for now. Like I said, I got a busy next 2 weeks coming up, so not really gonna have all the free time to work on it like I would like to. But we'll definitely keep going with it. We're not gonna stop here. Got the boat for a reason, right? I want to use it. I want to take it out. I just need to work out some of the kinks still before we can get it out on the water. But with it already being, you know, beginning of October, I don't think I think it's safe to say we're not gonna be able to use it this summer. Well, this fall now, I guess. But all right, let's get it back to the house, get it covered up. All right, we are back work on the boat. It has been, I don't know, 4 weeks, 5 weeks since the beginning of this video took place, so had a bunch of things pop up at work. Didn't really have the time to work on it, but we are back. So we need to figure out where this leak's coming from. I think it's coming from this seal from underneath this block again. So we're gonna pop that off, check it out. I also think that's where this leak's coming from the trim rams. There's that little 90-degree connection under there. I didn't want to crank it down too tight because I didn't want to strip it out or break it. So we're gonna take that out, drop that down so we can see it, and then I'll probably release this strap off of it, and then I should be able to see where the trim fluid's leaking from. So let's get that bracket off for now and take a look at it. All right, so taking a look at some of the water marks. This hasn't moved since I parked it that day, so there's a bunch of water. It looks like it's dripping out of here. So I'm wondering, I don't even know what this is, but it seems loose. So maybe we got some water coming out of here. I don't know what this is though. It's moving though. So if water were to leak in, that could definitely be a spot. Let me try and figure out what this thing is. All right, pop this cover piece off the bottom of the this block down here, and there's a ton of fluid coming out already. Let me grab a bucket. All right, I don't think it's leaking from there. I think it's leaking from these. I just don't know what this is. I also feel like it won't pop out. It's not like a cap, but I also feel like that shouldn't be that loose. All right, so I'm assuming, I don't know how well you can even see this. these little 90-degree fittings, I think that's definitely where all the fluid's seeping out. Let me go get some brake clean. And it wasn't leaking fast. Hold on there. It wasn't leaking fast or a lot, but I can already see it's filling up with fluid on the tops of the bolts already. So I'm gonna loosen up this ratchet strap and see if it is squirting out of there. Yep, you can see it coming out of it's mainly the top bolt. It's coming out a pretty good bit. Okay, so maybe if we just tighten that down a little bit more, hopefully that'll stop the leak. Doesn't actually look like it's coming out of the bottom one at all. All right, let me grab, I think it was like a 13 millimeter. Let me go grab a wrench. Not even close. I tightened these, but I didn't want to go super tight because my luck, I would have snapped it. Also my luck, I don't tighten it enough and now it continuously leaks, but not the end of the world. It's still coming out a pretty good bit. I feel like that should have stopped by now. I really don't want to break it. I'm going to take it completely off and then maybe rethread it back on. The strap is still holding it up too, so it's going to shoot out some fluid, but not a ton. At least that's the plan. Oh, all right. Maybe that's in there crooked, or I don't know. All right, I'm gonna take them both off, so that way it's gonna be easier for me to get in here, because I'm gonna end up having to clean up this whole area again and get all the old gasket off of it. And while I'm down here, I'm gonna re-caulk down around the edge of this too, because there's definitely some gaps. Maybe that's where it's leaking from. Who knows? I know I don't. God. All right, let's try and get under there and take a look at what's going on. I really wish I knew what those little bubble things were for. If you guys know what these are for, let me know. Hopefully I'll figure it out before the end of this video, but I think this might have something to do with it. Whatever those little caps are. Alright, so we got this bolt out of here. Turns out it's basically a big through bolt. It's got the square cap carriage, I guess, whatever you can call it. So it locks in here. It's not damaged, it was just loose. So that's definitely where the water was coming in at. So I'm gonna throw some red gasket maker on it. It has a little rubber gasket here, but I'm just gonna throw a red gasket maker on it and then throw it back in there and crank it back in. All right, well that took a lot longer than I thought. But this is the left side back here, so you can see all the red gasket maker behind it. So we got that one all bolted in. The right side, on the other hand, was not so easy. So the original one threaded off until about there, and then it just got stuck and I couldn't get it. So we ended up grinding it out. Let's see if I can stick this light somewhere. We ended up grinding the head of the bolt off and then pushing the bolt through, and then I ended up just buying a brand new carrier bolt, I think they're called, and then a new nut for the back of it. So we put that one in on this side. So I'm hoping, I mean, I think it was pretty obvious that that's where the leak was coming through, but I guess we'll see. But basically there were just two loose giant holes across the back of it with zero silicone, or they had these, I threw it in there. It had like a little rubber gasket behind there, but got a new rubber gasket for this side too, and again just put some sealant on there. So I don't think it was actually leaking from that block at the bottom. So I'm gonna finish this white silicone across the bottom of that and then hook the lines back on, but it's already gotten pretty dark out, so I don't know, one, how much I'll be able to get recorded, but I'm hoping to get it all finished and wrapped up, and then I can take this out hopefully early tomorrow morning, get it back in the water. That'll hopefully fix the leak, and I should be able to fix the cylinders here dropping down for the trim and tilt. That'll basically just leave us with the shifter cable left to fix. So I'm going to start throwing all this stuff back together, and hopefully start putting all these tools away, so that way I can hopefully get it all back together before the end of tonight, and then we can take it out in the morning. Alright, it is the next day. We got everything all put back together last night. I ended up leaving the lower unit all the way up and did not fall back down, so that means we fixed the leak. We got all the gasket maker in there all hardened up, so we're going to take it down to the lake, hopefully see if it doesn't sink. Alright, we got a little trickle of water coming in still. Let's see. Can't really see where it's coming from. It has a very minor leak, but I just can't see where it's coming from. It's nothing like what it used to be, though. See a little bit of water coming in. Alright, so majority of the leak has been fixed. There's still a little bit trickling out of the bottom. I don't know what it could be, but it's definitely manageable with what it is now, so I think we're going to call the leak good for now. I also just topped off the trim fluid, and that's working all good, so should be hopefully good for now. We just got to fix the shift linkage on the boat, and then a bunch of like cosmetic work still just to clean it up. Floors in here are getting really dirty, but just need to clean it up. Hopefully it'll be good to go. All right, we got the boat back to the house. I think that's gonna be a wrap for this video. Looking back at some of the content, I think it's probably gonna be a very boring video here, but at least we got majority of that leak stopped. There's still a little bit leaking back there, but it's pretty manageable compared to what it used to be. We ended up getting the trim tab or the trim pumps on the back to stay still, so they're not leaking as well either, which is good. I think the next video we're probably going to start digging into getting this cleaned up. We still have a lot of cleaning up to do, a lot of detailing. We got to redo clean up the interior. Unfortunately, as you can see, all the leaves are gone. It's already, you know, the second week or first week of November, so the weather's starting to get a little colder. We've had a couple days in the 70s though, so it hasn't been too bad coming out here working on it, but gonna start cleaning it up. I do need to winterize it pretty soon. Sucks we didn't get a chance to really take it out on the water yet, but maybe once we get the interior done, maybe we'll take it out on the lake just one time before the end of the season. But hope you guys are enjoying it so far. Stay tuned for the next video.